Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. Today is March 20th, 2026. And guess what it is? It's the first day of spring. Ooh, don't you want to just spring? Well, spring does not ask permission to bloom. And the question is, why do we? Spring just springs. It's just March 20th coming, spring. And so I asked, spring arrives on time, every time. No apology, no delay, no explanation. What does that mean? What in your life are you waiting to be ready for that is already ready for you? Ooh, I see that little dark thing up there. I didn't do that right. I'm not going to stop. What in your life are you waiting to be ready for that is already for you? Spring just comes. It springs. Spring doesn't ask permission to just spring. March 20th is coming. Day follows night. That's what my mother says. Night follows day. And so maybe this season we can stop asking permission. Stop asking permission to be who you are. Be that. Be authentically you. And start blooming anyway. You know, I already got the feel. I just feel it. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to put on next. How I'm going to get this spring thing. You see, I got me a little off the shoulder going on here. I know. Oh, I know one thing. We're going to get these teeth. Oh, I keep talking about these teeth. They hurt today. It's okay, though. Listen to me. Spring has sprung, and it did not ask permission. Why do you feel like you need to ask permission to be the authentic you that I know? The people on the other side of this screen, some are struggling with being authentically you, and some are like me, authentically me. But some are like I used to be. I had friends that I waited to be on the same page with me. I had friends that I would tell my ideas and they would poo-poo them and then do them themselves. There were friends who did not support me but supported everybody around me. And I just waited to get that pat on the head before I made a move. There were friends that I shared my ideas and I didn't do the idea unless they did it with me. All of that wasted a lot of time. And I'm not going to let you waste your time like that. Because I did make it to 83 to get to this Georgian. But I didn't have to live this long. And so the same thing with you. You don't know if you're going to get to 83, so let's blossom now. Let's get to be who you are now. You know who you are. I told somebody today they didn't know. I gave them, I'm hoping that, I can't say that. I gave them an idea. I shared something, I thought about it. That said, that person was just talking I think about. I gave them something that I do that you all know I do, but you don't know specifically that I do that. And so I gave them my spring, what I'm going to do after this quarter's over, what's my next move. I don't tell my next move. I hadn't talked to this person, and I love them so dearly. And I just can't imagine just now I thought about, they're going to be saying, ooh, Georgianne's going to be doing this. I'm going to have to change all that. But anyway, spring doesn't ask permission to bloom. Why do you? I made my mistake. Okay, now, you cannot blossom without roots. See, so the things that I do have roots in. My dad was a musician at Morehouse, but he was a musician at Roosevelt High School first in Gary, Indiana. And then he was a musician at Morehouse. He was a musician in the armed forces. I think he died from a broken heart because my mother remarried, but I think he died from a broken heart because I asked somebody, he never played music much anymore. But anyway, you cannot blossom without roots. So we love the flowers, we do, but we cannot forget the roots. When you go to garden, you got to make sure that the seed is placed properly and with love. You know, you got to talk to the seed and you have to just know how to manage it, you know, but you cannot blossom without some roots. So I put down 83 years of roots. You say, well, how do you know how to do all these things? Well, I've lived a long time and I kept them on the inside of me. people that I've gone out with, they never asked me what did I want to do. And I just did whatever they wanted to do. And so I'm just I had to ask myself, what do I want to do? And actually, it was two students. You heard me talk about them from Atlanta Metropolitan State College. They said, why don't you do it? We like what you're doing. Why don't you do that? I was thinking, you like it? They said, yeah, and they were younger than me. I was like, oh, okay. And that's how I got on this road. Got my music back, got my poetry back, my book that I hope you all will go and purchase. This one particularly, because it has from my soul, my writings. It's my one woman show I did that I want to do another one. And I hope I can. So what's the message? Before anything blooms in your life, find peace and find purpose and find love. It must be rooted. Because you talking about rooting it. All of that has to be rooted in what I know, faith. That's what I know. It must be rooted in truth. Don't lie. Where's that mirror? I tell you all the time about the mirror, right? Mirror, mirror on the wall. It's serious. You see it's a little boy on TikTok that says, talk in the mirror and tell the mirror what you want. But that's the person you can't lie to. And in knowing who you are. It took 83 years to get to this person. She started maybe about a few years ago. But anyway, okay, I'm sorry. I just got a notice, and I can't do anything about it right now. So you cannot blossom without roots, and it must be rooted in something. No pun intended, but in faith, in truth, in love, in knowing who you are. You know. I think somebody's at the door, and I can't do anything about it right now. So it says, oh yes, in the book of Genesis, everything began with planting. Ooh, that's true. Who talks about that? Everything began with planting. Myron Golden. He loves Genesis. So does my daughter. I got to stop for a minute, people. I'm not going to leave. I just need to look and see. I need to look right here. I'm sorry. Just bear with me. I like what I'm saying, but by the same token, I really can't see what's going on. And I didn't stop to see what was going on. Okay. Okay. I think we've gotten about, about 7 packages today. Wow. Okay. I just want to make sure, we live in a different world now. It's a different world. Yeah, it is. And I need to my studio is in the front part of the house. And so I moved 3 or 4 times. I'm sorry. Let me just, okay. All right. So we know that we got spiritual anchor. Don't rush the blossom though, because you got to wait for the root to really take. Just wait for the root to take. I had to wait a long time for the root to take. The root was always there. I knew in the 4th grade that I was going to be in entertainment. I didn't even know that word, but it came to me. That's what God said to me. And I've been struggling with it. I ran against it. I said, no. Oh, no, he must have made a mistake. No. But everything kept coming back to it. I don't care what I studied. School teacher this and da-da-da. It kept pulling on me and pulling on me. And only until I was 77 at the Absalom Jones Center for Racial Healing, Episcopal Center for Racial Healing, that I really feel like I fulfilled some of what God said to me. And the rest, I blew myself. I said no. I ran from it. I depended on other people to give me that validation. I didn't have the confidence. I never had a lot of confidence. And so I was acting like I did, but then I would be shy And it's quiet and quiet. People don't believe that about me, but I was a long time. And so I don't want you to do that, waste time, because you may not get to 83. And so let's do it at 43 and 53 and 63, whatever that is. All right? Don't rush to blossom, but deepen the root. What else I write? Some things must be pruned to grow. Lord Jesus. Spring is not just blooming, it's also cutting back. Now, I've had to cut back on. I remember this dress used to fall off of me for real. So I've had to cut back on a lot. And we're in Lenten season, so I had to cut back. I've cut back anyway. But just cutting back on people and friends and people you think you're friends. What needs to be released in your life? What needs to be released in your life? So old thinking, one, old hurt. I got a lot of that. Old labels. You know what I heard about the most is the city of Atlanta, and I love the city of Atlanta. But they had an event with the Atlanta Commission on Women, and they actually gave credit to Mabel Thomas for coming up with the idea for the Commission on Women. Amazing. When she was on the city council with C.T. Martin, and I went to them, I did, and said, we got a state commission on women. Why we don't have a city one? And then I decided to just let it go. Or, I'm talking about it now. You just have to, old hurts will stay with you. I could just remember something. I love this city. And it didn't love me back like I loved it. They missed out on a lot. That's all I can say. They missed out on a lot. But God let me stay here. So you got to release some things. Don't carry it to 83 years. It'll hold you back. It's one I'll have more wrinkles or something, Anyway, spring forward. Growth requires loss. It does. Growth requires loss. So your phone may not ring all the time, but you're working on yourself. And you're getting more things done. You just don't worry about it. Just, if it's not feeding your future, it may be time to prune it. If it's not feeding your future, it may be time to prune it. And all the vocabulary today is centered around the first day of spring. Because I wanted to relate it back to life. I may put this in my book, my next book. If it's not feeding your future, it may be time to prune it. Prune people away. I was telling someone today about, I asked someone to do something for me and they didn't do it right. And I said, okay. And then I've held that and I didn't go and correct it myself. Why won't I do that? I take these things I'm doing and think about yourself. Correct it. Get it right. Because you don't know how many days you got. We don't know what's coming down the pipe. You don't know how the Lord is really feeling about all this going on. You know what you read, what he would do. And so some of that may be coming to us. You just can't keep getting away with stuff. After a while, it's going to come back. We all know that's why we are praying as much as we're praying. I hope you're praying too, to just, Lord, come on now. Ask him to spare some of this. Because it's enough to just wipe us off the planet. Everybody. Anyway, spring doesn't skip a field because it's imperfect. So, no. Blossom where you are, not where you wish you were. Oh, that's true. Now, I used to believe in dressing for the job you want, not the job you have. So, my clothes were a little eccentric all the time because I was an entertainer in my mind. I was a singing entertainer. I was an artist. I am an artist. And so this is the real me. I was being somebody else when I was with other people, but it really wasn't me. This is the real me. I'm an artist. Anyway, you don't need a new city, a new job, a new title to begin again. Spring doesn't skip a field because it's imperfect. Right where you are, something can grow. I think about me, right where I am, something can grow. And right where I am, something did grow. And whatever's going on, I'm working on this. This is my theme right here, just growing. I have had everything get in the way of me reviewing my book, my 300 pages. It's amazing how the enemy just this and that and that and this. And this was happening and that was happening. Just back on back on back. But you have to stand firm, plant your feet on solid ground and say, get thee behind me, Satan. I got this. And you go on and get it done. I'll get the 300 pages done. I want them done by today, but I don't have them done by today. So it's my book, so I can get it done when I want to get it done. I set goals for myself, however, and so I'll reschedule a date. So let's recapitulate. Spring does not ask permission to bloom. Why do we? You cannot blossom without roots. Some things must be pruned to grow. Oh, Lord, yes. Blossom where you are, not where you wish you were. Spring forward is not just time, it's a decision. I missed that one. Spring forward is not just time, it's a decision. I think I did say that now. Don't wait for spring. Today's the first day of spring, yes. But don't wait. You're still waiting to spring forward. Today is a good day to spring forward. Today is a good day to say, you know what? I've had it. I've had it. I'm gonna move forward. And go by yourself. You can go by yourself. I remember traveling all over Africa by myself. And I did it because of a girlfriend of mine. I would say, well, who should be going back and forth to Africa? I said, well, who's with you? What group? That was before I went. I said, what group you with? She said, myself. I said, oh, girl, what? She said, girl, just go. I'm waiting for people. You be waiting till Jesus come back. Just go. And I did. And it was just wonderful. I've traveled a lot by myself. And God has blessed me. You have to know how to travel though. You're not looking like you stupid when you're out here traveling across the world by yourself. You better look like you know something about where you're going, got some kind of language, you got some kind of money, some kind of access, some kind of passports, some kind of extra something, and somebody knows you're there, but yeah, I like this Georgian, and I want you to have that Georgian too. I want you to have, don't wait for spring. I didn't wait for spring. You become spring. And that's what I did when she said, girl, just get on the plane and go. And I did that. And so, right, I'm saying to you, just get on the plane, get on the train, get on the bus, get on the skateboard, get on the bicycle. Speaking of, this weekend, I'll be signing books at the street festival. There's a street festival this weekend. And so I'll be out signing a few books. It's not a real launch. Someone asked me to do it, and I said, okay. And so I'll sign some books this weekend. I'm grateful. Because I'm all about the community. I just believe in the beloved community before it became a title. And so I used the title, and I really mean beloved community. I've been disappointed with how we don't do that. How every other nationality does that. But Black America, we have not learned to understand who we are, who we were, and who we can and will be. I don't get that. That's the part I don't get. But the one part you do know, my mouth is hurting me today. One part you do know is that I love you. You like these glasses? I like these. Fabulous. Woo. First day of spring and a Friday. I don't work on the weekend, but I am. I'm signing books Sunday. All right. Well, I love you. And that's one thing you know about me. Spring. Spring forward. Spring. Jump. Don't be afraid. You've planted roots already. You've done the hard part. Now blossom. I love you. And you can't do anything